What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only, Ash said it. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support. Over 1,600 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of this would be possible without you guys, so I thank you so very, very much. And yes, we're in springtime, but there's still a cloud just kind of looming over us. You guys are looking at the news and politics and COVID happening still, and there's all changes and things going on. And really what we need right now, we really need some really good, compassionate, caring leadership. So with us again is the wonderful author, and her newest project is The Art of Caring Leadership, Heather Younger. Hey, Heather.
Hey there. Thanks for having me, Ashley.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us again. So, Heather, let everyone know, what part of the country are you at right now? Where are you at?
I am in basically outside of Denver, Colorado.
Ooh, okay. So what is that weather looking like today?
Actually, it's pretty nice. It's real mild. I'd say it's probably just under 60, and it's relatively sunny. So it's nice today.
Yeah, that's a good Denver day. Okay, that's when I should have been in Denver. When it was like that. All right.
Not a snowstorm, huh?
Oh my goodness, you have no idea. None. All right, so Heather, where did the inspiration for this book project come from?
Well, I mean, it actually started from way back. I'm not going to go that far back because I don't think we have that much time. But I would say this, that I was working in an organization that was going through a merger, and there was a lot of mistrust building, and there was nobody sharing anything about what was happening, and everybody was really fearful. Mm. And I sensed it, and to be honest, it started taking a toll on me mentally. So I went to the head of HR and said, listen, like, we need to do something here. No one's listening to the people. Like, everybody's just fearful. And she said, I said, well, I think we should do something about the trust. She said, you should go do something about that. And I'm like, what? Like,
wow.
I don't know. Why should I do this? I did it. And it made me realize during this time, because I created this employee engagement council, people started to learn more about each other, and trust did build up. But what I realized is that we needed to have more care. We needed to have leaders who really, uplifted people around them. We needed to have people leaders who made their people feel important. And so this is what it ended up culminating in the need to have this book.
Yeah, I definitely can see that, because me, myself, I was telling a lot of other people, the last 3 years I was a flight attendant, and the company which I was working for, there was just a lot of, like you said, there's just a lot of confusion. Management is not talking to us and telling us anything. You're going through all the hierarchies and the protocols and things, and there's just like mass confusion in probably the biggest event to hit the world in how long? I don't even know. And with that just mass hysteria, that just leads to morale being really low, people essentially leaving the company and not really being motivated to stick with their job. So, I mean, what do you feel companies can do, or corporations can do, to better build that morale up and help lead better?
Well, I mean, I think the key, it does start from the top. So, making sure you bring in the right leaders to begin with, I think is key, because they set the tone and tenor for what's happening inside the company. I do want to be clear that I do think that this book, The Art of Caring Leadership, applies inside the workplace and outside. And so if you're a leader, someone who people go to you for guidance and leadership in your let's just say prayer community, or inside your community, or in your home. We all need to have more caring leaders who make us feel important, leaders who listen to us intently and act upon what they hear. Yes. This really does apply across the board. It applies globally around the world, and I'm just so excited to be able to unleash this caring leadership universe in the world.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about the message. And when you were writing this project, what was the main message you wanted to make sure that readers get across?
Well, I mean, caring leadership really is showing concern and kindness for those you lead or those who look to you for guidance. So I wanted them to know that it's about concern and kindness. And also I wanted them to know that that caring doesn't have to be this gray, confusing concept. It actually can be this thing that you know how to go do. Right. And so the 9 behaviors I outlined actually help you get there. And I think the other thing, finally, is really it's about having that we all have the power to show up with more care. And that we don't have to blame our manager or blame whoever.
Right.
We have the power to show up with more care. And I'm giving you the tools to do that.
Gotcha. How long did this project take for you to complete?
Well, interestingly, so we started, the book is a compilation of about 80 interviews that I had on my Leadership with Heart podcast. And so what happened is we worked on, I would be listening to the people and saying, okay, what are the concepts that boiled up for me? What are the things that keep boiling up? And I was like, And so at first I started off with like 9 things, and I had a couple people helping me corral all the information, and I would say, okay, this needs to go here, this needs to go here. And then what happened is it kind of stalled, but I had a May 2020 deadline to get my manuscript to the publisher, and of course, pandemic hit in March. Yeah. So since my business stalled, everything, all my speaking, all my consulting, like all of it just stopped. And I went into a little pity party for a few weeks and ate way too many cookies and drank way too much wine. Then I said, oh, shoot, I got this manuscript I got to get done. And that's what I did. I went about doing that, and that took then about a month and a half to 2 months to complete.
Cool. Now talk a little bit about that podcast. I was going to get to that. But tell us a little bit of a background about how the podcast started and what is your major goal for the podcast?
Well, I started it, to be honest, because I just wanted to have conversations with leaders with heart, people who just led with heart. I was like, this is just one more way to amplify the message. Right. As you know, like the more mediums you have where you can socialize, evangelize, really, right? That's more people get to it. Yeah. So that's why I decided to do the podcast is for that reason. And then I got to like maybe episode 25 after listening to these stories. One question I ask is, on that show, and I ask it to every person that comes on, is when was there a time when you were not the best version of you, when you were not the best leader, you weren't proud of yourself? What did it look like, and what did you do to come out of it? And I asked that question to everyone. And over time, I just kept having that conversation and kept listening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are brilliant. Like, they're not brilliant in their perfection. Their brilliance is in their imperfection, and then how they learned and grew from that. Right. And I'm almost like a sociologist at heart, which I'm not. I didn't even have that degree or anything, but I loved like the psychology, the sociology behind people and their behaviors and how they impact other people. And so that's voila. That's where we're at.
Wow, I love it. Last but certainly not least, what advice would you have for the next generation of female entrepreneurs?
Well, I would definitely say do not minimize your ability. Don't. Yes. And also I would say don't be the barrier to your success. Because what I often find is that we are, in fact, our own barriers. It's in our minds. So there are real barriers in the world. There are real barriers in front of us to advancing, to getting up to that glass ceiling and knocking the heck out of it. Yeah. There are barriers, real barriers. But then what I find is that it's so much of us is saying, well, that barrier is there. Shoot, I can't get past that barrier. And we're telling ourselves that. Stop it already. Stop it.
Yes. I love it. I love that. Heather Younger, thank you so much for joining us. As always, it's been a pleasure.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
I love the fast and heart. Let's just keep going.
Yes, that's what we got to do, and just keep putting good positivity out there. I also tell people a lot of times too, it's like you got to kind of black out some of the crazy stuff that's going on. There's all kinds of negativity going on in the world through social media, through news or whatever. You really have to be mindful of what and how you're consuming. Because too much of something crazy and too much of something negative is definitely not a good thing. So
true. So true. Let's get the positivity cocktail.
That's
going,
right. Let's keep that going. Let's pass it around the world, But Heather, let everyone know the best way to connect with you, of course, to follow your show. Definitely want to, big up another fellow podcaster. Let them know how to follow your show, how to get the book, and how to connect with you on social media.
Yeah, so I would say the Leadership with the Heart podcast, it's pretty much on all platforms. So you can just look up Leadership with the Heart, and you'll see probably my face, Heather Younger. And then related to the book, I would go to theartofcaringleadership.com, and you'll see lots of different interesting information, some freebies that you can download related to the book. And then I would say otherwise on LinkedIn, you just look up Heather Younger, and I'll pop up. Don't have to worry about that.
Love it. Heather, thank you so much for coming through. Definitely always appreciate your good vibes, your good energy. Definitely helps us in it.
Thank you so much. Be well, too. Thank you.
Not a problem. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.